Hi dear friends, welcome back to Akshadare Nanu Nima Devraj. So today is 21st September 2023. So let's start today newspaper reading. Before going to start the today newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment for more videos related to healthcare, education and personal news. So let's start today newspaper reading and let's see what's in today news especially. Bench to examine SC/ST quota in House. No cutoff marks for NEET PG. ADB lowers India GDP forecast to 6.3%. Taking a joint leap for new ethics in space, India must set a phase for world's agenda on Moon. Indian Super League season 10 from today. Police identity 6 black spots. 60 black spots. Identify 60 black spots. India issues a tit for tat travel advisory for Canada. Lok Sabha passes historic women's reservation bill. Opposition wants a bill to be delinked from a delimitation and a quota within quota for OBCs. Home Minister promises to rectify shortcomings. Ask CWMA to reconsider its state stealth SSC. Deviation from SOP caused fire at BBMP lab report. Traffic police identify 60 block spots, unveil remediation measures, flyover ramps, and higher vehicle density leading to accidents on Mysore Road. BBMP drops a recording of immersion of plaster of Paris Ganesh idols. Now, Banegata biological fog X reports death of 15 deer. Flight delayed for hour. Greenpeace India survey reveals support for expansion of bus lanes. Meet shop owner among four held for robbing beef from transport. YouTube channel booked for threatening Prakash Raj. Unauthorized vendors take advantage of transport department making HSRP must to hawk a look alike number plates. A notification made it mandatory to install iSecurity registration plate on 2 crore vehicles registered prior to April 2019. 3 killed in separate accidents. Pomegranate 3 youths arrested. Two police officials booked for abetting suicide of man. The police inspector of Alikawal police station and another official from Ennur police station are among 5 people booked by the Talagatapura police for abatement to suicide following the death of a 47-year-old alone document verification executive who ended his life due to alleged harassment on Wednesday. Based on the complaint filed by Vinuta, wife of the deceased, the Talagatapura police registered an FIR against the accused. The deceased Nagaraju V, a resident of Raghavanahalli, was working at a private agency owned by Sanaullah in Pune after he retired as a technician. On Tuesday, he returned home depressed, stating that he was detained at Vayalakal police station and tortured over a financial row. Nagaraju told Vinuta that he was called again for questioning and was scared to go to the police station. Vinuta advised him to go and face the inquiry and left for a job. A few hours later, she received a message on her mobile phone from Nagaraju apologizing for the extreme step he was taking and beating Adu and asked her to take care of their minor son. Vinuta found a note mentioning the names of Sanaullah, Natraju, Iregoda, and Shivakumar, an official attached to Ennur police station, and the inspector of Valikal police station. He said he owed to 9 lakh to one Devaraju, over which he was being harassed. He also claimed that he had paid 8 lakh to Shivakumar attached with Ennur police station. CM urges state MPs to put aside political and stand together for Kaveri cause. There is no question for releasing water. We have no water to spare, asserts Sidramaya New Delhi during a meeting with MPs. HDK asks Election Commission to probe Yathindra's statement. HCS seeks centers view as ex-cop wants review of blocking orders. Pitch for three device CMs made to garner support before LS polls. Fellowship in memory of G. Rajashekar. Exploring yet another option to solve Namma Metro's last mile connectivity issue. Can the soon to be operationalized Metro Metra app change the public distrust of many such initiatives in the past that eventually failed to deliver? Omani child undergoes robot assisted surgery. Poker and rummy are games of skill, concludes IIT Delhi study. Walk with the wild side. Veterinarian at the PFA Wildlife Hospital, a former Indian Army vet. I killed my mother is anything but gory. MISFs connectologs relay on stages. Midnight Munchies, Oceanic Delights, saying it with flowers. Setsi says stays MBBS seat allotment in a mop up round to those admitted in earlier rounds. The High Court of Karnataka made it clear that students who have not paid the fees and completed admission would be eligible for consideration for allotment of seats in the mop up round. Petitioners had questioned the legality of notification issued by the Karnataka Examination Authority on September 14. ICMR node to conduct a TioNAT test to detect Nipah. MLA ticketed cheating case 56 lakh recovered from MUT. Taking a joint leave for a new ethics in outer space. Let's read this editorial page and see what's info in this. The itch to get there first and fast is human, being competitive as part of the human survival instincts. The urge to plant one's flag there before the other flag bearer does is human too. It is part of the human's political instincts. Some 11 decades ago, in 1910 and 12, both itch and urge were quivering in the northern hemisphere. Robert Scott, a 43-year-old British naval officer, was preparing a daring expedition to the South Pole. Around the same time, a Norwegian explorer, Roald Amundsen, about 4 years ago, was planning a bold ice trip to the North Pole. And learning of dubious but loud climbs by two Americans, Frederick Cook and Robert Perry, Amundsen lost interest in that destination. It had been reached, but the South Pole beckoned, while others had fringed that continent of ice. No human foot had stood on the southernmost point of the earth, setting foot on the South Pole. Scott and Amundsen knew of each other's target and goal, but observing due courtesy is all right. They raced to it. Scott and his men with dogs and horses, Amundsen with his dogs and sledges, Amundsen and his five companions with 16 surviving dogs got there on December 14, 1911, 34 days before Scott and his team of five did. planting the Norwegian flag there. Amundsen felt fulfilled. As he should have, he named their South Pole camp Polium, meaningful home in Norsk, and he renamed the Antarctic Plateau as King Haakon Seventh Plateau after his monarch. Scott and his team were to perish on the pole, having been caught in foul weather. On exploration's success calls, Amundsen is placed on it on top in legend and lore. Scholar Scott has for all time outpaced his Norwegian rival any race as its victories. Some have ironies besides. In 1939, Norway laid claim to have vast area of Antarctica which it called Drowning Maud Land or Kuhn Maud Land after its reigning queen, wife of King Haakon. This area covers about a sixth of the entire continent. There followed another Norwegian claim to Peter First Iceland, which is about 450 kilometers up half the western side of the Antarctica Peninsula. Britain had been outdone by the Norway and the South Pole, but she was not going to be out of the race for territorial claims over Antarctica, nor others. And now, apart from Norway, the first South Pole arrivee and climate, Britain, the second South Pole arrivee and climate. There are five others who have sharply defined areas of Antarctica which they regard are theirs: Australia, Argentina, Chile, France, and New Zealand. So Antarctica has seven flags playing on their own. Antarctic territories. How are these seven tracts of Antarctic ice over which flags of different stripes fly? Then different from colonies of the imperial era. They are different. There are no subject people there, no native residents, which who are being denied freedom. No resources are being drained out from there to the mother country. But then why were the seven on that inhospitable continent at all? Regulation and Antarctica was well-being. With the International Geophysical Years in 1958, seeing many players becoming active in Antarctica and years of Cold War rivalry taking unexpected turns. United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower convened in 1959 an Antarctic Conference of the 12 countries active in Antarctica during the IGY to negotiate a treaty when Argentina proposed that atomic explosions be banned in toto on Antarctica. The US objected, saying only those states that were carried out without prior notice and consultation should be banned. The USSR and Chile supported the Argentine proposal, leading the US to agree and take the negotiations forward. In the present times, when satellites can pick up any activity that is suspicious, none of them can do anything questionable there. They will be found out. But even before the world developed its sky ice, the early Antarcticans had to share their space with others, if only to justify their own. Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States, 12 countries, had established over 55 Antarctic research stations for the IGY, and they had to make the treaty record full acceptance to two basics: freedom of scientific research in Antarctica and the peaceful use of the continent. An indirect consensus emerged for demilitarization as the treaty prohibited nuclear testing, military operations, economic exploitation, and further territorial claims in Antarctica. Today, there are 54 parties to the treaty, with 29 having consultative status. India, with its own station on Kuhn Maud's land, being one of those 29 that have demonstrated their interest in Antarctica by carrying out substantial scientific activity there. Close monitoring systems are in position to regulate the activities of the countries with a presence on Antarctica in order to maintain its ecological integrity. But the phase that there are around 66 scientific stations in Antarctica, 37 being occupied year round. The remainder closing down for winter and some 4,000 people through the summer months and about 1,000 over winter each year living on it, in my opinion. Compromises its well being. It's the work being done for humanity's good from there sufficient ground for the present and the future footprint of humanity and its climatically challenged surface. But this article is not about the Earth's South Pole alone. The Earth's seas and ice are different from the sky and its spheres. But we know that there has long been an Antarctic type race in the outer space between the powers which have perfected with great toil and it's a great expense to penetrate it and go higher and higher, faster and faster than their several years. And the world has been all too aware of the need, dire and pressing, to prevent an arms racing in outer space. An agreement that is about restraint. Even as the Earth's South Pole drew Amundsen and Scott to it, the moon followed Russia's Luna's 25 lander and India's Chandrayaan 3 to it. The Indian vehicle reached its destination, but the Russian was not so fortunate. And just as the world's engagement with Antarctica led to a treaty, so does the Moon Agreement adopted by the General Assembly in 1979 in Resolution 34 by 68, elaborating on many of the provisions of the Outer Space Treaty, provide that space probing humanity's dealing with the moon should be used exclusively for peaceful purposes, that its environment should not be disrupted, that the United Nations should be informed of the location and purpose of any station established on it. The agreement states that the moon and its natural resources are the common heritage of mankind, and that an international regime should be established to govern the exploitation of such resources, which, when such exploitation is about to become feasible, the Moon Agreement is far sighted. Something of the world's experience of Antarctica and the working of the Antarctic Treaty informs it. The Moon Agreement is a self regulating convenient of restraint. It anticipates human applies appetites for turf, for control, for the urge to get there first, for first, flag and haul, and dig in. Pride and exhilaration over the Chandrayaan 3 achievement, entirely natural, must now be followed by a mature policy on the future of India's Earth-borne plans on the moon. To put it differently, as an Earth for a pioneer on the moon, India must, by precept and practice, set the pace for the Earth's agenda on the moon and of the moon's future as a partner with the Earth. As a partner, not as property, as a collaborator in science, not a colony in a subjugation, the moon agreement must be taken to its next logical stage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement that the success of Chandrayaan 3 is not just India's alone, but it belongs to all of humanity, was wise and responsible. Following up on that, he can now do the world space missions great service. How he can do so now by taking the initiative to craft a declaration of the fundamental rights of outer space and thereby inaugurate a new ethics of human activity in outer space, including very pointedly the Earth's responsibilities towards outer space debris. This new ethic must make the non militarization of outer space a non negotiable covenant. The Outer Space Treaty and Moon Agreement now need aligning not just with the latest advances in space missions but with a moral compass to the stars. India cannot afford to be among those who may want to scramble for outer space hegemonies over what is not just the common heritage of humankind but that of a larger cosmos. Let's go to the next page. Vietnam, key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. In international relations, strategic turnarounds are not uncommon and are in fact embedded in the very tapestry of anarchical structural realities. Yet, even by those standards, the immediacy and the scale of the volte face in relations between the United States and Vietnam since the Cold War has been remarkable. On September 10, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee Nguyen Phu Trong and the US President Joe Biden met in Vietnam during Mr. Biden's visit, marking a new pace in the bilateral relationship between the two countries. The standard from this point of meeting was the elevation of US Vietnam relations to a US Vietnam comprehensive strategic partnership from a US Vietnam comprehensive partnership forged in 2013 between Vietnam President Trong Tan Song and US President Barack Obama. A complex foreign policy legacy. Given the complex history of US involvement in Vietnam during the Cold War, this elevation marks a significant step up. Vietnam's strategic restraint, notwithstanding motivations for an upgrade in bilateral relationship have existed on either side, at least since 2013, if not before. Vietnam's reservations about entering into a strategic partnership with the US have both contemporary and historical relevance. The geopolitics involving China's growing by belligerence in the Pacific theater felt most palpable in the waters surrounding Vietnam and the broader South China Sea, has proven to be a first order different deterrent for Vietnam's great power engagements. On the other hand, the historical legacy of Vietnam's contested relations with the US during the Vietnam War, an exile relationship with the communist states and China and the Soviet Union, culminating in the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation with the Soviet Union in 1978, had together imparted a direction diametrically opposite to US interests. This complex foreign policy legacy is the reason why the two Vietnam has entered into a comprehensive strategic partnership with only four nations: China, Russia, India, and South Korea. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Paris Peace Accords signed in 1973 to end the Vietnam War. Much water has flown under the bridge in that Vietnam's relations with the US have come a long way. Mr. Biden's Indo-Pacific policy now counts Vietnam as among the US leading regional partners in the region. Vietnam is the 10th largest goods trading partner of the US in 2020. The total value of trade in goods and services between the US and Vietnam amounted to approximately $92.2 billion and exceeded the $138 billion dollar in 2022. In May 2022, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity was launched by the US, with Vietnam as a founding member along with 13 other countries to revive Washington's economic dynamism in the Asia Pacific, bolstering ties. The Biden administration has depicted an unusual nimbleness in its strategic embrace of Vietnam. The visits by US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Vice President Kamala Harris to Vietnam in 2021, the meeting between Secretary Austin and the Vietnamese Minister of National Defense of Vietnam General Pan Van Giang in Singapore in June 2022, and visits by US Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen this year have culminated in Mr. Biden's visit and augmenting of the bilateral relationship. The US Vietnam relationship is now rapidly expanding its bilateral spectrum with an emphasis on enhancing political trust, strengthening science, technology, health, and digital innovation cooperation, training of high quality workforce, addressing climate change, and establishing a strong defense relationship in the backdrop of China's increasing assertiveness. Addressing legacy issues underlines these cooperative efforts. An assertive China. The war in Europe has thrown new challenges for Vietnam as its weapons import from Russia, its largest defense supplier, has been hit by West led sanctions. These limitations in the first phase of Vietnam's resolve to modernize its military, coupled with an ever growing assertiveness from China, is also gradually nudging Vietnam in a new direction. China's dramatic steps in 2014 to place oil rigs in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and the subsequent asserting posturing have tested its avowed policy to stay clear of great power politics in the region. Undoubtedly, Washington senses an opportunity here, and bolstering the defense and security relationship with Vietnam is a key piece of America's grand strategy in the Indo Pacific. An important component of Mr. Biden's visit was to start the process of shoring supply chains in the semiconductor industry to Vietnam, even as it seeks to boost Hanoi's chip manufacturing capabilities. As the two countries seek an expanded economic partnership by increasing investments in critical technologies, chips, and artificial intelligence, there is space for linking such partnerships across the broader realms of the Indo Pacific with like minded partners. India's initiative on critical and emerging technology partnerships with the US, along with the Quad's principles of critical and emerging technology, could provide an overarching framework in the Indo Pacific for a standardization of technology in its design, development, and use. A supply chain arch which extends from Vietnam to Europe via West Asia and anchored by India with the newly launched India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor during the recent G20 meeting. India could symbolize a comprehensive strategic partnership in an apt way. This was written by America Observer Research Foundation. Let's go to the next page. 3 years of the Abraham Accords. Spectre of the solar scam in Kerala. The scandal has plagued the Congress and kept resurfacing for over 10 years. Women's share in assemblies are less than 10% in 20 states. Share of women and parliamentarians has never exceeded 15% in the past general elections. Bhutto does not visualize another war with India. White House backs probe into serious allegations, John Kirby. Strategic Communications Chief says Joe Biden is mindful of the allegations raised by Trudeau. Urges India to cooperate with the investigation. He says the US is going to stay in touch with both its partners, India and Canada, about this issue. US State Department urges Indian cooperation. Serious allegations, says Australia on Trudeau's remarks on killing of Najjar. These are serious allegations and they are deeply concerning for all of us. I would note investigations are still underway. NIA declares 10 lakh reward for info on BK linked operatives. US considering Modi is invited to Biden to be chief guest at Republic Day, says envoy. Turkey raises concern over Kashmir issue during UNGA. Implement women's reservation bill immediately, says NDO bloc. Congress and other opposition parties demand that implementation of quota be delinked from delimitation to avoid delay. They called for provision of quota within quota for men from the SC/ST and OBC communities after a caste census. Rajya Sabha holds a debate to facilitate Chandrayaan mission. BJP is using quota to win a men's vote. Mayawati was missing from a preamble in copies given to MPs. Hadi. Question of representation comes to the fore during debate. This bill is called the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Stop saluting us. We don't want to be saluted. We don't want to be put on pedestals. We do not want to be worshipped. We want to be respected as equals. Not the right cut. House security personnel art under the collar. Delimitation rebate, gender versus regional caste identities. Atrocity hand tribal people in Madhya Pradesh sparks row. Constitution bench to examine validity of extending quota. The 104th Constitutional Amendment in 2019 had extended a reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in Lok Sabha till 2030. NEET GPG 2030 cut off reduced to 0 percentile. Krishna bans for Dharam. British PM released ban on new petrol and diesel cars by 5 years. Imran charged under criminal conspiracy and May 9 violence case. Saudis Houthis hail talks as push continues to hand Yemen's war. North Korean leader Kim returns home after week-long Russia trip. Karabakh operation halted. Azerbaijan. Authorities say they stopped the military operation launched in the region on Tuesday once separatist officials announced laying down arms. Armenia says it did not take part in discussing or negotiating the deal, but has taken note of the decision made by the region's separatist authorities. U.S. Attorney General denies politicization of Justice Department. Strip Russia of vote veto power, Zelensky says in UN address. Women face tougher penalties as Iran MPs pass this court bill. 6 Palestinians killed in latest fighting with Israel. WhatsApp to odd arrival in app payment options in India. ADB lowers India GDP growth outlook for this fiscal to 6.3%. Row unlikely to deter Canadian investments in India. Akasa Air gets note to fly global routes. AGEL Total Energies tie up for a renewable energy portfolio. AGEL will contribute to the assets while Total Energies will make 300 million equity investment. Stellantis Jeep brands eyes doubling sales, increasing localization. Harvard International plans unit near Chennai. Indian spikers stun higher ranked South Korea. The volleyball team beats three-time gold medalist 3-2 to top pool C and enters the knockout stage with 5 points. Jaideep's men had lost their lives last 5 matches to the same opponent. Harman beats Lovlina to be Black Bears at the opening ceremony. Joe Root looks to emulate 2019 World Cup success in India. Saudi to undergo a surgery. Call her WC availability next week. NY Dallas and Florida to host T20 World Cup matches in 2024. ISL 10, a stronger and longer version kicks off today. As the High League champion, Punjab FC will be the first team to gain promotion to the tournament, which will have 12 teams. Kerala Blasters takes on former champion Bengaluru FC in the opener. Mohammad Siraj reclaims top spot among ODI bowlers. BCCI announces SBI Life as an official partner in 3-year deal. Lazio custodian Praved El strike earns a draw against Atletico. Para Asian Games a litmus test ahead of the Paralympics Bhagat. It's Indian Patriot versus a Trump star in a BA Nanaya Memorial Trophy. Indian team confident of good show at a World Jeep Chip Championship. Blasters and Ukko Manovic playing the prize for an emotional decision. Only time will tell if the Kerala's team can pull off its plans for this season after one of the most contentious calls by a coach in Indian football last year. Oldest head puzzle of a plant eating a dinosaur found in Rajasthan. IT rookie scientists have characterized dinosaur fossils from the Middle Jurassic period found in the Thar district near the Jaisalmer basin by the Geological Survey of India. The remains are those of a sauropod dinosaur, and happens to be the oldest known fossil form of this particular sauropod. An ancient landmass broke up, giving us pink diamonds. First, the immense pressure that twisted color into the diamonds occurred during collisions between Western Australia and Northern Australia's 1.8 billion years ago. A star's life is always nothing less than stellar. This is the last two pages. A number of patients, text and context page, number of patients under hypertension treatment in India. Now members added under the health insurance schemes of ESIC in July. The number of electric buses to be deployed in India, 10,000 numbers. The number of mineral exploration projects approved by NME. The women MPs who had took part in Women's Reservation Bill debate, 27. A review of Pakistan's higher judiciary. Through interspersed with a brief bold bouts of independence, Pakistan's Supreme Court has always fallen in line whenever threatened by the unforeseen outcomes of political engineering by the omnipotent military establishment. Know your English. What is the tussle between the central government and the Delhi Waqf Board? What is the contention about the ownership of 123 properties, which include mosques, dargahs, and graveyards? Why is the Waqf Board upset with the surveys of the monuments? What did the two-member committee submit in its report on the issue? World Alzheimer's Day, which is observed every September 21, is a global effort to raise awareness about Alzheimer's disease. Here's a quiz on neurodegenerative disorders. This is today news, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper reading. So I will come up with a very questions, which is very important for the competitive exams in the upcoming videos. So take a break and please subscribe the channel, like and comment, so that I can bring very informative videos in the upcoming coming days. So have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.